So like this is an informational session for what the process entails. And so I guess we'll start off with doing introductions. Okay, so I'm Hannah Song. I'm the outreach coordinator, and I kind of just handle anything in charge of conference bidding and the Trailblazer Award. And I'll pass it on to Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick Hatcher. I'm the Director of Communications for the National Board this year. And then last year, I was on the logistics team for the 2017 conference.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tony. I am the Director of Outreach for ECAASU this year. And then for my conference experience, I was the Program Director for the Harvard Conference in 2015. And I had a great experience with that. And it was a great opportunity for me to network with other people and stuff like that. And that's just a small plug about my conference experience.
Hi, my name is Catherine. I am the executive director for ECAASU. I'm in my second year, and I have never been directly on the conference team for ECAASU, but through my time being associate director and executive director, I've helped mentor and advise the past few conference teams.
Hi, my name is Al, and I serve on the board of directors for ECAASU. This is my third year in ECAASU, and I've had experience working with past bids for the past conferences, as well as previous conference experience on some other conferences.
So, you all may be wondering, can my school be a bit like bring ECAASU 2019 or to my campus? Yes, more than likely, if you're sitting in here, yes, you can. These are all the states that are eligible to be part of the bid process, as well as be possibly on the conference, and that's Alabama, Connecticut, Delaware, DC, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Hampshire, or no, not Michigan, Mississippi, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vermont, Virginia, and West Virginia. You can apply as a school, as an individual university in any of these states, but then we also encourage you to build coalitions with other campuses as well and create a collective bid with multiple campuses.
So the first step towards the bid process is the letter of intent, which is something slightly different this year. We made it less of a commitment, but it's a way to express interest in bidding. And so it's due December 2nd, 2017 at 11:59. If you could email it to me, my contact information will be at the end. But to get on with what it should entail, it should be around a page or so, and I wrote kind of a template on what the letter of intent should include. So some things are like about your team and your organization, or organizations involved. Include a little bit of information about what your organization or organizations does, or what its goal is and its values are, and how it's structured and how that works. A little bit of history of these organizations, what have they done in the past, and why is your team or organization interested in hosting for the 2019 ECAASU Conference? What makes your university or region uniquely qualified to host the ECAASU Conference? And then the second portion we would like you to include is involving more around the actual conference itself. So how does your organization's goal align with ECAASU's? And how does hosting the 2019 ECAASU conference impact your community? And in what ways will it positively or impact your campus and the rest of the community around it? And finally, what are your goals and potential theme for the conference? Obviously, you don't have to be so in-depth, but it's just a way to get you started on thinking about what you might be planning for the future.
All right, so you're wondering, what do we look for in a host school? So obviously we're going to look for a school or an organization that has event planning experience. Conference is a very big event that reaches a lot of students across the East Coast as well as the continental United States. Someone who has passion within justice and issues that face the AAPI community, and as well as history. So, any Asian or Asian American organizations in your school, any interaction with ECAASU in the past, such as hosting a conference in the past, a ECAASU campus tour, attending conference, being an affiliate, or any kind of involvement with ECAASU. And then significant API history that has happened at your school. Maybe you have an Asian American Studies, Asian American Center. Maybe you had a big protest geared towards Asian Americans. So things like that. Is there something interesting going on at your school right now? So interesting movements, protests, the climate, once again, trying to get like an Asian Studies, an Asian American Center, even, ethnic studies at your university or institution. So those are some things that we look for in a host school. If you don't even have all these things, still submit your letter of intent because you never know.
So the tentative timeline as of now, so this is what the whole process would look like if you were to submit your letter of intent. So the applications of letter of intent open, and so once the letter of intent applications close, we'll be holding one-on-one sessions with the applicants. So it's kind of like a way for us to get to know you better and for you to kind of ask us questions on what your concerns and questions are in more detail. And then after that, around February, you would be submitting your final written proposals and then presenting that a few weeks afterwards. And ideally, at the end of February, we would like to select which bid location would be ideal for 2019, and then that would be announced during the 2018 conference during March 2nd to 4th.
All right, so y'all probably sitting there wondering, having some questions in mind in terms of what are some frequently asked questions, and some things that we could clear up for you in terms of this process, because we understand that hosting a bid is a big commitment in terms of your time commitment, and also the work and the effort you put into this in terms of the amount of students it recruits and the amount of sponsorship that is needed to be done. So I'm just going to go over some questions that are frequently asked of us in terms of campuses who are interested in hosting a conference. So first question I have is, so the question is, I'm interested in bidding, but I'm not too sure about hosting conference. What should I do? Well, the first suggestion is if you're interested and have any inkling of hosting a conference or wanting to host something like ECAASU at your own community, please submit a letter of intent. That way, once you submit a letter of intent, it's just a one-pager, so it's not too much of your time, but it does show ECAASU that you're interested in hosting a conference and what you could bring to your community if ECAASU does host a conference in your area. And so that way, once you turn in the letter of intent, our outreach coordinator will be able to meet with you one-on-one to go over your situation in terms of your letter of intent, your situation at your own school, how ECAASU can best support you in terms of what you wrote down in the letter of intent, in terms of the specific points or major points that you want to go over in terms of what ECAASU can help you for, in terms of what ECAASU can do for your community and stuff like that. So pretty much if you, TLDR, if you're interested, in any bit interested, send an 1110, and then we'll follow up with a meeting. That way we can hash it out a little more. That way you get a better idea of what entails hosting a conference and what entails ECAASU helping you do that. The second part is, why should I bid? So we have a fantastic video on our ECAASU page, courtesy of our communications team, courtesy of Nick right here, our communications director. And so the fantastic video with the past conference team in the Triangle area in North Carolina, where they detail why they hosted a bid, why it's important to host a bid, why they did it in the first place, and overall hosting the ECAASU conference is a very rewarding experience because you gather people from different areas of your community, but also different areas for different communities to come to you and just have a giant day-long programming where you get to learn from each other, see other people who are passionate like you are, and see people who are interested in learning more about API issues in one place. And it's just a great opportunity for, to get pumped up for the year and also to get educated and get empowered about learning about API issues and stuff like that. Maybe I could pass the mic to Nick a little in terms of his experience, because he was part of the conference team last year.
So yeah, there's basically, conference is a really big endeavor, a challenge that it'll definitely be one of those, but it's ultimately a very rewarding experience. You put in a lot of work into planning this big event, but I mean, in the end, the event is really important to have. It's the only time when like Asian American and Pacific Islander students from across the East Coast really come to the same place at the same time to exchange ideas, develop, and grow as a community and as individual leaders. And it's just really awesome to like, bringing that all together. And if you have like any big ideas of saying like, this is what I wish AAPI students were doing right now, these are the issues that I wish we were tackling as a group right now, or anything like that, then like, this is your chance to make that happen. By hosting conference yourself, you really get to plan a great majority, like really all of it, to do whatever you really want. And so it's a really exciting opportunity. And yeah, it's pretty great.
I think also something to think about, especially if you've been to ECAASU Conference, the conference changes people's lives, like in the way that you may not be thinking of some of these issues, or you're just thinking about activism or advocacy. And so if you're one of those people who are just like, why is my community only caring about, social issues, like being a social or, cultural, which both have times and places, right? But if you want to activate your campus to be more politically active, or just want to start caring about AAPI issues, having the conference in your location can really galvanize your community to start thinking about it. And so if you're thinking about like, oh, my campus is apathetic or my community is apathetic, then this is a really awesome way to like bring your community together to really think about what it means to be AAPI.
And to piggyback off that, it's a great opportunity for yourself and your own community at your if you end up hosting a school, it's a great opportunity for yourselves and your own community members to develop these concrete leadership skills and an ability to work with your own campuses and your multiple campuses on the community in terms of, oftentimes on campuses, different Asian American community organizations or different pretty much Asian American related fraternities are siloed off. So this is a great opportunity for to break that silo and to work with each other in your own region. And it's also a great opportunity for beyond just your own school, but also schools within your area and making that connection with each other. And oftentimes, organizations, they have common issues with e-board turnover, improper project management, or like membership recruitment and retention. And this is, like Catherine says, a great opportunity to galvanize and really activate your community to really work with each other and tackle your own issues after your conference is hosted too, because everyone else says, you worked so intensely for an entire year. You end up, keeping these relationships for a very long time. And these do end up being lifelong or really long relationships where continuous improvement and continued activity with each other does happen. And I think conference is set up in a way so that we help empower the host school and the community so that you learn from each other and your experiences and ways you could be professional with each other.
So another frequently asked question is, when I'm writing this bid, if your letter of intent is accepted, will I be on my own, or will my organization or basically your bid team be alone in this? And the answer is no. So how the process will work is once we accept your LOI, as well as I think we might accept up to 2 or 3 LOIs, there's going to be someone on the national board or board of directors who'll be mentoring you through the process. And so you'll have someone directly here to give you direct feedback, to help you through what it means to run a conference. And we have structures as well as an extensive packet to help you have a better idea of what it means to run a conference. And so know that, ECAASU, we're here every step of the way in you filling out and creating your bid, and then also throughout the conference team as well. And so if your fear is I don't know how to run a conference, or I've never done this before, most people who run the conference, most of them are just this is my first conference too. And so just know that we recognize that a lot of students haven't had this experience, and that isn't a huge deterrent in why you aren't selected, right? What we're really looking for is passion. What we're looking for is the community need for us to be there. And ultimately, we look to the students who care about bringing ECAASU.
Awesome. Thank you for the help on that, answering that question. So our next frequently asked question is, you're interested in bidding, but you don't think you can make the deadline in time because we understand the deadline is December. Finals might coming up, or that's when your exams for the beginning of December start before after your exam, you have to huddle down, bunker down for your finals. So if you're interested, but you can't you're not sure if you can make the deadline, please reach out to Hannah, and we'll make something work where we can, come up with a different timeline for your bid, your letter of intent to be submitted and stuff like that. And that way, we just know that you're on our radar so that we can work with you directly in terms of getting that at a later time, just so that you don't miss this great opportunity to host a conference. And then if anyone else has any other questions, please comment in the chat or email our outreach coordinator, Hannah, and then we'll be able to answer your questions about that.
Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy the live stream. Hope it's helpful to someone or some people out there. And I guess just everyone have a nice day, have a nice night, and happy Thanksgiving to you all. Yeah, that's all, I guess. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.